Hi there, welcome to I Alone Fly Tarot. I'm going to do a tarot card reading for Aquarius energy, and we're going to end up reading it from a couple different perspectives because people have free will. Some people harness high vibe Aquarius energy, have hope and faith and belief in love, in healing, in their dreams, look at life from a higher perspective, and some people have a much more worldly focused Aquarius energy. It's all about the world or their image or their status or how other people view them in the world, and love and a higher truth and justice isn't really what drives and motivates them. And then there's some people who are shadowy Aquarius energy, and they're more self-centered, egotistical, and all about themselves. And we all harness some Aquarius energy. So listen to your intuition about where you are in the story and how you think other people harness their Aquarius energy. And we will go from there. I also have another channel, if any of you would be interested in checking that out. It's called Tarot Land Soap Opera. On that channel, I do a top row and a bottom row, kind of contrasting what people could be doing in their life in high vibe versus more worldly focused. If any of you would be interested in that. Okay, let's turn down the camera. Okay, what's going on in Aquarius energy? First of all, the main reason for the reading, the last card of the reading is the Justice card, kind of we'll reap what we sow. Why did that card come out? Because of the Nine of Cups. The Nine of Cups is Pisces energy, which is about our emotional nature and has to do with our dreams and what we find emotionally fulfilling in life. Do we like to indulge our more worldly immature nature because our shadow nature is like our more base nature? We all grow up as children and we can all be horribly selfish and self-centered and bossy and controlling, and we want what we want and we're lazy. We can be petty and envious and jealous and we want it all. Well, are we going to keep indulging our more immature worldly nature? Or are we going to want to get our divine inheritance? If we do indulge our more immature nature, we think that's just and fair. Everything we do in our life at any given moment in life, we probably think is just and fair, right? We justify why we do what we do. Other people want to get their divine inheritance. And I am willing to be a student of life. I'm going to align with my more hopeful, believing Page of Pentacles energy of Virgo, Taurus, and Capricorn to put in work and effort to get my dreams to come into reality. I have to be willing to grow and mature myself. I have to face my fears and my insecurities. I need to shed some of my more emotionally immature, indulgent ways of being. It isn't all just about me and my wants and needs and my lust and my greed. If I want the justice I deserve, it first starts within me, learning to love, because Pisces energy can be about love, to love myself. Offer myself love and compassion and forgiveness for the lessons I've had to learn in life. We've all got lessons to learn, and we learn lessons throughout our life. Are we willing to offer ourselves love so that we're balanced within ourselves? The Justice card is Libra energy, which is represented by the scales of justice. Are we willing to balance out our emotionally hopeful, believing nature with our more worldly nature? And are we willing to invest in having hope and faith and belief and love? Some people don't want to do love. They get hurt. They kind of indulge their more worldly nature. I think if I invest in the world or indulge in the world, that'll be the better decision, because I'd get hurt doing love. I'd have to admit that maybe I have some lessons to learn and that maybe I need to grow up and mature myself. And some people in shadowy Aquarius energy, which is air sign energy of the mind, they could think, I think I'm pretty smart. I think I can manipulate the system. I think I can manipulate people to get what I want. I don't think I have to be like authentic and vulnerable, because the Nine of Cups also talks about being emotionally independent of the world, of your ego nature. having gotten out of the illusion and the fears and the insecurities, to love yourself, to believe that you deserve to move forward in life and not live a life of illusion or fear or ego, you know? I want to grow to my full potential. And I'm willing to admit that I've made mistakes in life. I am a fallible human being. And in my Aquarius energy, I've looked at life from a higher perspective. High vibe Aquarius energy is like, you know, I step outside of societal norms to bring needed change to the world. I read an article a while within the last year that said that the fewest amount of people are born under Aquarius energy. Aquarius energy people can be really unique because they kind of don't fit in the box. You know, they are kind of unique. And, you know, if you're willing to step outside of the box that the world tries to put you in, that other people want to put you in, like you should act like this, you should dress like this, you should want to do this in your life, you know, do all these things that we want to do. We all think that's okay, and that's what we all do. But, you know, we've all been given unique talent, skills, and interests that are unique to us. You know, we might have certain things that we like to spend our time in, you know, whether it's math and science or song and art or whatever, you know, for other people to say, no, you should do this. It's like, why can't I do what I want? But there is some people who are afraid of stepping outside the box because why? You know, people might judge us. What if I go try to get in that career field I really like? What would people think? What if I try to be a scientist or an artist or whatever? You know, I think you should go invest in what you enjoy. And even if what you thought you were going to get into doesn't come into fruition, at least you'll be in that industry or career field and just be a part of it. And it would be exciting and interesting just because you like that career field, you know? So it kind of has to do with, are we willing to believe in our dreams? The Seven of Cups can talk about that, believing in our dreams, but it also is Scorpio energy, and Scorpio energy has to do, which is also water sign energy. Do we want to have deep, meaningful relationships? Or are we just going to indulge ourselves, make offers to people to get in a relationship with them, and then we're just going to create this illusion and we're kind of emotionally shallow and superficial? But we want to have a new beginning in our ego. Or are we being authentic and warm and loving? And are we bold and brave enough to have hope and faith and belief in our dreams? High vibe Leo energy is about being and life-giving energy like the sun. I choose every day to invest in believing in myself. And that means from the Nine of Cups down to the Seven of Cups, I have to quit investing in old ways of being and aligning with my more fearful, insecure, prideful, egotistical, lazy, just want to feel better nature. You know, if I really want my dreams to come into reality and have that new beginning, I need to quit investing in what was that might be over. And it's time to move on. Just like when we're age 18, going to 21, going to 25, we let go of some of those old ways of being to grow up and mature ourselves. It's time for the next level of life, you know, and that is about illuminating in the Ten of Swords what's over. It's done. There's nothing new to learn there. Living our life the way we had lived it, we've learned what we were meant to learn from it. It's time to move forward. And when we're willing, you know, to offer love to things in our life that could have ended painfully, do need to end, because we have offered love to all of our fears and insecurities we had about letting that go, when we're willing to do that, we come out with the Ace of Swords with clarity and insight, because we did get down to the heart of the matter. And the heart of the matter is I deserve to be in just and fair, emotionally fulfilling relationships. And it starts within myself. To think that I can have those type of relationships and I haven't done this work in myself, that's an illusion. And it probably won't turn out the way we think it's going to. We have to align with having hope and faith and belief within ourselves, offsetting our own fears and insecurities, to put an end to our more childish ways of being, to detach from that old way of being, to take the lessons we've learned, because the Five of Pentacles moves away from the Four of Pentacles, which is about holding on to something. But I don't want to go outside my comfort zone. I want everything to work right here. Well, if everything isn't working right there, then we need to see the truth, be illuminated to the truth that this is over. You know, if there's certain people we wish would move forward with us in our life and they're not putting in work and effort to work together with us, you know, it keeps us in emotional confusion and illusion, thinking we're going to have a new beginning with people who have already maybe decided that they have a different dream. They're motivated and inspired by different things. Maybe they have a lot of fears and insecurities that they don't want to deal with. Maybe they'd have to detach, maybe from their, shadowy Leo. Some people think, no, I'm going to keep indulging my more immature worldly nature. I'm kind of caught up in the illusion of my fear and my insecurity and my ego. And I don't want to detach from any of these things. I'd have to go through a period of feeling left out in the cold. And I'd have to deal with my regrets of the past, because the truth is what sets us free. And some people don't want to deal with the truth. They want to live an illusion and live from their ego and put an end to feeling left out in the cold and dealing with the regrets of the past. And they think the answer isn't love. It isn't dealing with the truth. It isn't healing, getting balanced within themselves, loving themselves. They think, no, that's an option, but I have a better idea. I think I know better. I'm going to go indulge in the world to make myself feel better. And I'll create this illusion that I've healed, that I've detached from those things in the past, but really they haven't, because they haven't dealt with them. And they think, I'll just go into the next relationship. It'll be okay. I'll just tuck those away in a corner of my mind. But those things still affect them and the decisions they make in a relationship. And then the pattern happens over and over and over again. And sometimes they're confused why the new beginning ended and they were left out in the cold and sad again. It's like, well, because you didn't ever look at and illuminate why the other relationships in the past ended. Do we keep chasing after the same kind of people? Oh, this time it'll work. Oh, they have the same traits and characteristics as all the other people I've went out with. Why am I getting myself involved with people like that? Am I choosing people who have a lack mentality and haven't dealt with their regrets of the past? Do we both have some growing and maturing to do and healing to do? And, we've got to see the truth. How did I contribute to those relationships not working out? Am I willing to offer myself love and compassion for not having dealt with some of my own fears and insecurities and self-limiting beliefs? Am I willing to do the work now? Because I want to know that I did everything I could to love myself and believe in myself and love myself. So I'm acting from an emotionally balanced, healthy way instead of being codependent, fearful, and insecure, or even more shadowy, bossy and controlling and petty and envious and jealous and trying to manipulate and control other people. Some of the people, probably the more shadowy they are, the more they don't want to see the truth. So what is going on in Aquarius energy right now? Some people are going within and they're looking at the past to see, like, did I pick up an investment in something in my past because I was kind of immature and defensive? If there's someone I want to be in a relationship with in my past, have they picked up their investment in the people they were invested in, or are they still defensive and kind of attached to those people? And then some people are just looking at the past to learn the lessons they were meant to learn, because the Hermit card is Virgo energy, and in high vibe, that would be people who are going within, self-reflecting on the past to learn the lessons they were meant to learn from those life experiences so they don't repeat those same patterns. And it is about trying to see the truth. The Virgo Hermit goes within to learn the lesson, to see the truth, so that they can be free to live their life differently based on the lesson and insight they've come to understand about the past. And that can be looking at things about themselves they hadn't wanted to look at, things about other people in their life that maybe previously people they've dealt with that kind of made them defensive to moving forward in their life. Why? Who are those people I've dealt with in my life that make me defensive to maybe believing in myself? The Six of Wands is Leo energy. Why am I defensive of believing that I deserve my divine inheritance? And we can all have people in our life. Everybody's got to win this. Everybody's got this dualistic nature. Not everybody's won the war within themselves and picked love. We're dealing with other human beings in the world. And some of those people had fear and insecurity, and some of them were self-centered, or out of their fear and insecurity were self-centered or bossy or controlling or more worldly focused, more ego focused, more trying to feel powerful than being loving, And if we're just willing to admit the truth that, I dealt with fallible human beings who had their own issues, and, if I can reconcile myself with the fact that I'm a fallible human being who's made mistakes, I've dealt with other people who are fallible human beings, and we admit our own, the whole thing is, we've all been children before. And, I think a phase of life, I know I went through it. I don't know if everybody goes through it, but you can kind of go through a thing where you kind of blame everyone in your past. I would be more bold and brave and confident if those people had just this and this and this and this. And then it's like to sit in our self-pity and whatever and point our finger out at everybody else in the world. This is why my life hasn't worked out. You are to blame. And the whole thing is, we're not kids anymore. And there comes a point in time that we realize that, especially as we become adults and we know how much more complicated life gets and challenging and different things that, maybe we can offer. The Virgo Hermit is offering kind of love and compassion. They're holding a lantern. I want to see and understand what I wasn't seeing and understanding before. I am maybe older and wiser now. And they're not going in there with a sledgehammer and a knife and gonna chop everybody up into little pieces for having been a fallible human being. It's kind of having that inner child nature. I just want to understand so that I can get more balance within myself. And high vibe 2 of Pentacles in Capricorn energy is I want to be able to lift up my investment in the past, to get more balance between the past and the present and the future, to get clear about my own truth. And, the truth that helps us be free and heal is love. So that's why we go within kind of with love and compassion, to offer love and compassion to the past and to ourselves so that we can be free, because shadowy Capricorn is represented by the devil. I don't want to be enslaved and imprisoned and limited and oppressed and confined by the past, or things about myself that I don't want to acknowledge the truth of. Because if I don't acknowledge the truth of them, then I can't move forward. I'm going to keep, even though I'm trying to look like I'm moving forward, I'm going to keep repeating the same pattern because I haven't seen the truth and let go of those ways of being that I need to let go of. And maybe it's just that I haven't learned to love myself. And I think that's the hardest lesson for people to learn. And the people who are doing that work within themselves are getting out of their ego. The Six of Wands takes inspired action to get out of the Five of Wands, which is all this inner conflict. Our fear, our insecurity, our pride, our ego. Were they supposed to love me? Am I supposed to love me? How do I get balanced within myself? How do I get free from the past? And they take that inspired action to have hope and faith and belief in their dreams. This is Leo energy. I'm taking action to get out of my shadowy Leo energy of ego and emotional defensiveness to offer myself love and compassion and forgiveness. I don't control anyone else in the world. The only person I control is me. If there's one person in the world who every day should treat me with love and compassion and forgiveness, it should be me. I should be my own best mother, father, coach, voice in my own head. And I think the high vibe people are cutting out harnessing these energies in a shadowy way, and that could be the action that they're taking right now. I need to let go of harnessing these traits and characteristics in a shadowy way, and I need to start doing the work, like within myself. Virgo talks about doing, it's like solitary and alone, doing this work within yourself to get to where we harness those energies and get ourselves balanced, because the sixes in tarot talk about balance, so that whatever these energies are, to get more balanced in these energies, so I am more aligned with them in a high vibrational way than a shadowy way. And that also means that I'm probably going to have to distance myself from the people in my world who were happy when I was in my fear or my insecurity or my ego or my self-limiting beliefs, because then I would indulge in a relationship or a friendship with them or stay in that job. And when I no longer align with those kind of shadowy, lacking hope ways of being, I'm probably not going to hang out with those people that much anymore. Because that's not how they're living their life. And I might try to inspire them to move forward with me, but if they don't want to live their life that way, they have free will. There's some people that we know that hide the fact that they juggle and that they're kind of defensive and immature. Some people are more aligned with their worldly nature. That's their truth. And they think it's just and fair. And their inner Virgo nature, they just keep them hidden within and they never do any work in there. Or they never let them come out to reveal the truth to them. Nope. You're going to stay inside. I'm not going within to gain insight and understanding. I'm just going to keep juggling, meaning I'm going to present myself as probably harnessing high vibe energy so that people will hire me and be in a relationship with me. But I really kind of harness more shadowy or worldly focused energy, and I'm defensive to going within to deal with it. I just juggle. I don't pick a path. But if you want to be in a relationship with people, you should be just and fair and loving and act with character and integrity. And you shouldn't be manipulative and selfish and greedy and prideful and think it's all about you. But some people think they can have the best of both worlds. Can I get in a relationship with people like that? I'll just present myself as being something other than I am. And I'll just kind of juggle the truth. Well, the only thing is, eventually people listen to their intuition and they feel juggled in that relationship. And they go within to figure out, why do I feel juggled in this relationship? This person seems to be defensive to moving forward victoriously and bringing a dream into reality. Why isn't the dream coming into reality? I'm starting to get the idea that they're defensive, that they don't really have the same dream that I have. They might like operating more from their egoic nature, which can be, I think it's more about me. My wants, my needs, my lust, my greed, my pride, my ego. Or I'm defensive to love. I want to be in a relationship, but I don't want to get out of my ego and my emotionally defensive nature. And eventually people go within and they're like, yeah, I think if you want to keep juggling, I think I'm going to stand in my truth and I'm going to move on. And some people right now might be getting ready to do that in a relationship. Some of you have already done that. So what are these two cards? The King of Swords and the Nine of Wands. The King of Swords can be where some people previously could have been living more from their mind than their heart. You know, because we all grow up in the world. We're all kind of brought up in the philosophy of life that, you know, these are the important things in life, and, you know, work to have these things. And if you work to have these things, you'll be victorious and successful. But we can kind of get so caught up in living more from our mind than our heart and wanting to look victorious and successful in the world that we kind of don't take creative, inspired action in our life and we can tip out of balance into our more worldly view of life. Instead of, in the Nine of Wands, can talk about having good boundaries within yourself. You know, again, the sixes can talk about balance. You know, yes, we all want stability and security, and we'd all like to enjoy the finer things in life. But I'm not going to make those things of the world, or my mind, or my fear, or my more bossy, controlling nature, because that's what shadowy Libra can be, tip me out of balance so much that I'm defensive, you know, and I'm not moving forward in life, you know, because I'm afraid. You know, I've gotten so caught up in the dream of the world and how everybody's taught me and how I've perceived it myself that I got so caught up in the illusion of the world, I kind of lost sight of being more bold and brave and creative and listening to my intuition and love to guide my decisions. And that's what some people could be going within to realize that they did. And the difference between the Nine of Wands and the Six of Wands is the Three of Wands, which is, I was expecting my dreams to come into reality living my life this way. It seemed, wasn't that the truth? Wasn't that the way we're supposed to live our life? And if we want to move forward to get our true divine inheritance and be more balanced within ourselves and in our life and in our relationships and in workplaces and families and everything, we need to let go of the dream that it's just all about that. That's the most important thing. It's about balance. It's about being truthful and just and fair and taking action and truth and love and being bold and brave enough to do love, where we still put work and effort to have stability and security and enjoy some of the finer things in life, but we do it having good boundaries to our more prideful, egotistical nature, where the whole thing gets tipped out of balance and it's kind of like we ran our life off into the ditch because we lost perspective. We lost being balanced. You know, and then there's some people that hide the fact that, well, I don't want to have good boundaries within myself. I am more aligned with my worldly nature. That's my truth. I get hurt doing love. I don't trust love. Or I don't want to listen to my intuition. I don't want to take more bold, brave, creative action in my life. I got to do is practical and logical. You know, that's what's good for my ego and my image. I need to work with the world. And then, instead of working with people who harness high vibe Sagittarius energy and high vibe Aquarius energy, who are more bold and brave and creative and look at life from a higher perspective, no. I need to go get in relationships with the people in the world who make their life more about their Capricorn energy and living, you know, hiding from the truth that it's about listening to our intuition and being bold and brave and creative. You know, you think about how different the world would be if nobody, ever since caveman days, or very few people, how little humanity would have evolved over the last, 3,000, 10,000 years if everybody was like, oh no, can't listen to our intuition. Oh no, what would people say? We have to have guaranteed success. We should just do what the world says to do and just keep doing what the world says to do. Which reminds me of that Bible verse that says, don't be conformed to the world, but be renewed by be transformed by the renewing of your mind. And that's like realizing that, wait a minute, I was given unique talents, skills, and interests that are unique to me. There's certain things in life that, I'm inspired by. Some people could be inspired by ants, and they learned about ants, and other people by the stars, and, growing plants, and those people, and some people music, and, all the things that have transformed humanity since caveman days. Which, yeah, other people were like, you shouldn't do that. Nobody has done that. Nobody in our family does that. And some people are like, yeah, but that's my truth. And that's what really motivates me, inspires me. And I think I'm going to go look into this. Maybe I'll figure out how to plant and grow our own crops instead of, more in an area close to us so we don't have to go search and gather all over, Maybe we can plant some apple trees right outside our cave, And, it's about, we were given our intuition, and the fire energy kind of makes me think of our more intuitive, creative nature. We were given our intuition, and it was a gift, just like bats have sonar, to help us be inspired to realize we have unique talent, skills, and interest, and we're bright and we're smart in our air sign energy. We have our mind. We can use our mind to be bossy and controlling and fearful and afraid and manipulative and prideful and egotistical. Or we can use our mind to live a life of adventure. We can learn to master our mind and our thoughts and our emotions. We're not meant to be slaves to our mind. Our mind was made to protect us. But, we can't let our mind, kind of like letting our ego nature, run our life. Oh, you get hurt out there. You better not go out there. You better keep doing things just the way we've always been doing it. Well, our shadow nature is also represented by the devil, which is about limiting us and imprisoning us and enslaving us. High vibe energy is about being free. But we need to offset and offer love and compassion to our fearful nature to keep us in balance, and having good boundaries to our shadow. It's kind of like we have the knowledge of good and evil. The seeds of both aspects have been planted within us. And we need to find balance between that, because our shadowy nature wants to run our life and be in the driver's seat of our life. And our shadow nature, kind of represented by the devil, and it's all about the self. I want. And it really doesn't care if at the end of our life we're laying in the gutter. It's going to lick its fingers and say, damn, that was awesome. And we're dead. Our high vibe nature wants us to grow to our full potential and become all that we can be in a healthy, loving, balanced, joyful, peaceful, abundant way. We got to keep our shadow nature in check. We got to grow up and mature ourselves. We need to get out of our ego. We need to stand up for our truth. And then, if we don't, we're going to be drawn and attracted to probably some people in our life because we didn't learn to love and believe in ourselves and stand up for ourselves. It's like, oops, they still have lessons to learn. Okay. They're probably going to reject the loving people who want them to grow and mature and live to their full potential because they haven't learned to love themselves. They're still kind of immature. We've all got lessons to learn. We've all been immature. It's just, at what point are we going to quit some old patterns and grow and mature ourselves and let those ones go and move on to the next phase of life? And if we don't learn to have good, better boundaries within ourselves, our mind and our ego and our fear and our codependent nature we'll be kind of running our life, and we'll probably get in some relationships with some people who are happy that we don't have good boundaries within ourselves and don't listen to our intuition. And it's kind of like our shadow nature being personified by another person. Oh, you don't love and believe in yourself? Perfect. Let's get in a relationship. It'd be good for my ego and my image to be in a relationship with you. I sense you're a loving person and nurturing and supportive in your Virgo energy, but you haven't kind of seen the truth, maybe about people like me. Perfect. Let's date. Let's get married. I'll be the boss of you. You haven't learned to stand up for yourself? I'll teach you, or I'll be the boss of you. Oh, you can't really decide if you want to love yourself or not? Cool, I'm going to juggle you. And I'm not really going to decide if I want to invest in you either. Oh, you're still kind of got some lessons to learn? Me too. I'm going to act immature. And maybe emotionally cold and detached and bossy and controlling and hide the fact, because I'm kind of operating in my shadow nature, which represents devilish energy. I'm operating from my ego. I didn't get in a relationship with you because I'm motivated and inspired by love. I saw that you didn't see the truth about people like me. You don't realize there's people like me in the world. You're kind of naive and gullible. And I'm going to indulge in a relationship for as long as you let me. As long as you don't see the truth. This works for me. It's good for my ego and my image and my status and all those good things, because you are a loving, nurturing person. You just haven't learned to stand up for yourself and believe that you deserve to be in equally mutually loving relationships. You might be an overgiver. You might be used to being in relationships with people like me. Perfect. And eventually you get in relationships with people like that, and eventually, you realize, initially it can start out okay because you both got lessons to learn, and it could have moved forward, and it could have been fine if everybody had been willing to grow and mature themselves and go within to gain insight and understanding that it is about growing and maturing yourself and having good boundaries. And if everybody would have done that, some of those people in those relationships, that relationship, and people that are in those relationships, they're going to move forward in a perfectly wonderful relationship because they're both willing to have good boundaries within themselves. They're both willing and motivated by love and to be independent versus codependent, and to be a student of life and willing to grow and mature themselves. It's just that sometimes when we get in a relationship, some people have a problem speaking their truth. Some people have a problem getting out of their ego or thinking the scales of justice should be tipped in their favor and it should be more about them than the two of you or the work group or the family group. They could think that, they're the ones who get to kind of be the boss. And they might be, some people don't want to let go of this old dream, Who knows where people get these ideas in their head, but anybody can have their own ideas of what it means to be in a relationship. And some people always had this idea of being in a relationship where they didn't have to do any of those things. Like grow and mature themselves, deal with their fears and insecurities, deal with their defensive nature, or their maybe more bossy or controlling nature, or their egotistical, self-centered nature. They could think, I'd always planned to get in a relationship where I didn't really invest in people because I'm kind of defensive. I also maybe don't want to speak my truth. I don't want to have to take action in truth. I don't want to have to stand up for myself. There might be people in my life that if I were really to invest in living my life and being more emotionally independent, I'd have to have good boundaries to some of those people in my life, which could just be their original family members or their friends or whatever, and they're unwilling to become emotionally independent from some of those people because our shadow nature is kind of being codependent on other people for our sense of emotional well-being and stability and things like that. And if some people really haven't kind of invested in their life in kind of being more independent and kind of growing and maturing themselves and working through some of their fears and insecurities so they're not operating more from their egoic nature, those people just don't have a very strong foundation to stand on yet. So they're not maybe anywhere ready to do what some other people are doing in the world. And then just some people, it's like, I never planned to live my life like that. I never even planned to think of getting in a relationship like that. I want to do life this way. This is the way I've always planned to do it. And that's fine. They can do that. But, and the thing is, as you probably got the gist of what I was talking about earlier, sometimes people get in relationships with people and then, because they don't kind of want to do things differently, because they don't plan to do anything differently and detach and have better boundaries or speak up for themselves, when they get in relationships with other people who are starting to do that, that's when kind of their more defensive nature can come up, because it does trigger maybe a lot of fears and insecurities within them, things that they don't want to deal with. And that's when their kind of more shadowy, maybe bossy or controlling or defensive nature can come out. And also maybe their more immature, prideful, egotistical, self-centered way of being can come out. Because for some, they never even expected to be in a more just and fair and balanced relationship. Same way if you have a job, some of the people who are employers or supervisors in workplaces, they don't plan to change. And you don't realize that initially until things start to happen where, they kind of are feeling like things are changing and people expect them to change. And that's when their more stubborn, really resistant way of being will come out. And it's kind of like, no, I liked it much better when it was more, I think it's just and fair for me to indulge my more immature way of being. And basically, if you want me to stay here in this relationship or in this workplace, people are going to have to kind of indulge me. And that's when other people leave that workplace because the management is maybe supporting them. And other people see, yeah, I got to go. I'm going to leave this job. I wish it could have worked, but, if management and or people in a relationship don't have good boundaries within themselves, and they had the free will choice to be just and fair and open and honest and authentic, and they chose to act in a more not nice way. And so some people are like, I'm done. I have a dream, and my dream cannot come into reality with these people. And I deserve to be in just and fair and balanced and loving and supportive environments. And I do know how to fill my own cup emotionally. And so I'm going to go, I'm not codependent. I'm going to go invest in my options. I'm going to go try to get a new job, a new friend, a new relationship. I'm going to put an end to feeling left out in the cold and sad about people who don't choose love and justice and fairness and balance. And some of you already did that, and you're moving on, and you've been taking, it takes time, it takes time. We're emotionally complex human beings. It takes time. We can end a relationship, but it does take time to work through. The 5 of Cups is Scorpio energy, which is about our deep emotional attachments we have with people. But we keep listening to our intuition and our higher self, and we keep being inspired by that hopeful, believing nature. And the divine helps us balance out our strong emotions. And if we keep listening to our intuition and keep taking bold, brave, confident action in that hopeful, believing nature, Because we're all manifesting next week, next month, next year, the next 10 years of our life. If we keep taking action in a place of hope and faith and belief and love, and we don't take action out of fear and insecurity and pride and ego and immaturity, where we basically be repeating a past pattern, we're probably going to go hang out with some people who are like that. And we know all sorts of people in the world, and we have all sorts of friends and acquaintances, but who am I going to get in a relationship? The people who seem to be on the same path I am, or the people who don't seem to be there? I can hang out with them and be friends with them, but the divine wants our dreams to come into reality in the Three of Wands. To be willing, like I said, here between the Nine of Wands and the Six of Wands, if those people kind of in their ego want to repeat this old pattern, I've been there, I've done that. I don't want to be in workplaces and friendships and relationships with people who go back and forth about if they really want to put in work and effort to be in a just and fair relationship, who are maybe kind of immature and defensive and don't want to hide the truth, or defensive to seeing the truth. Can't we just do this? Can't we just juggle? And can I just juggle you and hide from speaking the truth? You might have some people who might communicate with you as you're moving forward in your life. Some of those people are hoping you can just stay right there, in a way. Like, let's go back into being in a relationship. You quit having good boundaries. Let me be the boss. Are you juggling? Are you defensive? Have you not seen the truth? Perfect. I'm going to come back into your life to see if you want to have a victory with me, because, I don't know, maybe some of the people that they did think it was just and fair to go indulge in, maybe it wasn't what it was cracked up to be, but they still want to come back and do the relationship exactly the way it was. I'm still the boss, but because you're defensive of like moving forward in your life, they could think, and you want to maybe be the winner or get the justice you think you deserve, perfect. I'll indulge you in a new beginning, but we're going to do it exactly the way it was before. And it's like, I think you'll tell them, no, I've been there and I've done that. I do have good boundaries within myself. You didn't know that I went within to see the truth. And I'm no longer, these both look like children in this card. I'm not that person anymore. I've grown up and I've learned to speak my truth and stand in my truth. And I'm doing love and justice and fairness and balance, and I'm not in my ego about you anymore. I'm not going back and forth. I saw the truth. You had the opportunity to be just and fair and open and honest and loving, and you chose differently. And I've seen the truth. I'm no longer in illusion and emotionally confused about it. I'm not in my ego about it. I've moved on. I've let go of that dream. I'm defending justice now. A higher truth. A higher justice. I'm not aligned with thinking I run the show, because I already thought I knew best and that didn't work out. So I'm trusting in a higher truth and a higher justice, and I'm emotionally independent, and I'm willing to start fresh and new. Have you done that work? Are you willing to speak your truth and have good boundaries to your egoic nature or your shadowy nature, or speak your truth to whatever manipulates and tries to manipulate you in your life, and be more emotionally independent, to believe in yourself and believe in your dreams? If not, then the illusion that you might have had that we could have a new beginning is a no. I've moved on. I've dealt with my regrets of the past. I'm intuitive that there are people in the world who are more bold and brave and confident in love, and I'm going to trust that the divine is going to work with me to bring my dreams into reality. And I'm going to keep taking action in the world in love, treating people with love and respect, and, and I'm sure I'll find someone who would love to be in a relationship with someone like me. But we live in a dualistic world and you have free will. So I think you're also going, as you keep moving forward in your life, for some of you that are moving not in a relationship right now or getting out of a relationship, as you go through this journey of healing, and you're ready to come out in the world, because, like I say, it takes time to do that work, and we don't want to just go get in another relationship because I feel left out in the cold and I feel sad. That's probably what the other people did, and then it didn't turn out the way they thought. It's nice to hang around friends and everything, but I haven't healed from the past, and you've been doing that work, and when you're ready, you will come out. And some of you have come out, and you could have communicated to some other people in the world that, I have been illuminated to some truths. I've learned to stand up for myself. I'm more emotionally independent and more mature than I was, and I'm ready to move forward and have a new beginning, and basically communicating to some people that, I'm moving forward, who wants to come with, who is free to be open to love. And I think you could have some other people who will communicate with you if they thought they were moving forward in a way that maybe it was either where someone was indulging them or they were indulging someone, and maybe operating more from pride and ego, and they listened to their intuition that I need to put an end to this or I'm going to end up feeling left out in the cold and sad. My intuition is telling me to take action and offer a cup of love to someone who has balanced themselves out and believes in their dreams, and I'm going to go talk to that person. And the high vibe people won't be being like an immature player trying to maybe use their sexuality or their charm or their charisma or whatever to try to get you in a relationship, because they've been in relationships with people who are like this too, and they don't want to be in relationships with people who are in that shadowy way of being, and they have good boundaries. And the swords and the wands can talk about communication. I want to know where you're at. If you're not over your past, just like you would communicate with people, you'd get to know them, probably talk about some past relationships. I don't want to get in a relationship with someone who's still juggling someone from their past, someone who wants to hide the truth. Are you willing to be transparent and open? I think the other shadowy people, they're going to try to hide the truth. They're going to go back and forth and juggle. They're going to be defensive because they know they just want to indulge and be immature. More mature people will be truthful and honest and to get to know you. The shadowy people will also probably try to use their charm, their charisma, their sexuality, things of the world, money, whatever, to try to tempt you in your ego. High vibe people don't want to tempt you in your ego. And you don't want people to be in a relationship with you being in their ego. You want people who have good boundaries. And everybody has good boundaries. And I think with the people that your intuition tells you that they have gone within, they are balanced within themselves, they have learned the importance of standing up and defending your more loving, hopeful, believing nature, because otherwise, oops, got an alarm on my phone. Otherwise, it's just that you have these things of the world, but it's like a hollow life. If you don't have people in your life who treat you with love and respect and try to see things from your perspective, where, versus being in relationships with people who want to be indulged and are immature and try to offer you things to get you to keep staying in a relationship with you, but they don't give you love. The high vibe people want the justice. And I think this is saying for the people who do the work within themselves, and if they're in a relationship right now where they need to stand up for themselves and be more emotionally independent, or just stand up to their more shadowy way of being, whether they're fearful or insecure or whatever way of being, whether they're in a relationship or not, if those people do the work, and high vibe 9 of Wands Sagittarius is higher education, wrapping your brain around this game of life. If I act and indulge in my shadowy nature, It's like dealing with the devil. I got some hard lessons to learn, and this isn't going to work out the way I want. If I want my dreams to come into reality, I need to quit indulging in my shadowy nature, and I need to learn to be independent, love myself enough to have good boundaries to my mind and my fears and my ego and my more immature nature, to get the justice I deserve, to maintain balance within myself, to love my own worldly nature, to be my own best mother, father, coach voice. And then I can have these new beginnings with the people that are in my life and the people I meet, because I no longer have a lack mentality. I've learned to love myself and feel more stable and grounded within myself and appreciate what I bring to the world. When you know that you're going to offer people, I'm going to treat you the way I would like to be treated. I'm not going to be petty or envious or jealous or be in my insecure nature. I'm going to maintain my balance to treat people the way I like to be treated, to enjoy life. And when the people I meet aren't there, I accept that they're not there. I'm not going to feel rejected and out in the cold, to the degree that it puts me back in my shadow energy. There's going to be people in the world who don't like people who love and believe in themselves, because some people are used to manipulating and controlling people, and other people are in their shadow energy, and they can tell that you don't seem to be imprisoned and enslaved by the same things they are, and that can trigger them into being like petty and envious and jealous and catty and whatever. And you just have to accept that people who are open to loving balanced relationships and enjoying life would be, and the people who aren't there won't be. But it's like, I have to quit taking it personally and being sad and look at things from a higher perspective. There's some people who want to be controlling in relationships. That would be like shadowy Aries. And, if they can't control people because you're more emotionally balanced and free, then sometimes they don't like that, because they probably let a lot of things and people in their life control them. And, it just kind of illuminates how they backstab and betray themselves and haven't learned to love and believe in themselves, so they don't want to be around you. So, anyway, I think some of you could be, if you're not in a relationship and you've done this work within yourself, I think you're going to take action no matter what to be independent and have new beginnings in your life. And there might be some people who want to stop you because negative energy tries to stop high vibe energy and try to tempt you to be in your ego. They might just even do things by turning their back to you, ignoring you, juggling you, trying to get you to not keep moving forward and keep you in this defensive energy. And I think it's going to be like, you know what? I moved on. You go back there and turn your back and go juggle whoever you want to go juggle. I'm going to go invest in the people who want to do love. And I think you could have some new beginnings with some people like that. So let's go ask what's coming up for the people who harness some high vibe Aquarius energy that they might not see coming. We have this card coming out because of the Seven of Swords. So again, the Seven of Swords is Aquarius energy. Like I said, there might be some people that were moving forward in life kind of in a not so great way of life or relationship. I think some of those people are going to listen to their intuition to be in a relationship with you, if that's friends or whatever. And it has to do with this card that's not showing itself, the Two of Wands. They haven't given up on their dreams. And if they're in relationships with people, shadowy Aries, kind of like shadowy King of Swords, can be people, and they don't, male or female, if they were moving forward with people that were kind of more about themselves or kind of bossy or controlling or trying to emotionally manipulate them, and get them to backstab their own dreams and move forward with them, I think they're not willing to give up their dreams, and they don't want to be in relationships with people who are emotionally cold, immature, who juggle, who prideful, defensive, and maybe bossy and controlling. And they're going to want to be in relationships with you because you're not acting like that in the world. What's coming out for the people who harness more shadowy Aquarius energy that they might not see coming? Well, the Wheel of Fortune is that the wheel of fate will not go in their favor. Sometimes, again, like I mentioned, Aquarius energies, air sign energy of the mind. Some people think, and in the King of Swords, that they're really smart. I can get the things I want. I can get justice. I can be happy and have a new beginning. I can mentally manipulate people. And I think some of those people are going to find out that the Wheel of Fate will not turn in their favor. And why did that card come out? Because of the devil. You know, they didn't plant good seeds, basically. There's some people right now that are waiting for someone to, let's see, what was the underlying reason here? The Nine of Cups. You know, the end cards over here for the reason for the reading is also the beginning of the reading. I think some of those people think I turned my back on them. I juggled them. I hid the truth. I did all this shit to kind of make the people I was in a relationship with defensive and confused. I was basically trying to manipulate them to get them to do the relationship the way I want to do it. And I think it's not going to work out the way they think because the high vibe people adhere to a higher truth. You might, you know, in Aquarius energy and the King of Swords and the Six of Wands, you know, they might be people who by worldly standards might have these things of the world. You know, they could be victorious, they could be successful, they could be attractive, people you're attracted to. But things don't go in the favor of the devil, you know, with people who adhere to a higher truth and justice. You were selfish, you were greedy, you were manipulative, you were immature, you weren't just, you weren't fair, you were egotistical, you were prideful, you were self-centered, you were hurtful, you were abusive. You didn't care about anyone but you. You know, the devil's very egotistical and self-centered and unloving and unjust and unfair, and they still think they should get it all. And I think you're listening to your intuition that I've learned lessons in life, and you were a big lesson in life. And I'm going to listen to my intuition about anyone else I meet in the future who might create the illusion that they harness high vibe energy that says, I don't have to feel left out in the cold or sad anymore. I can get in a relationship with them. And then they think that they're the boss and it's all about their wants and needs and lust and greed. And I'm supposed to be the emotionally loving person in the relationship and just balance out my emotions about being in a relationship with someone like that because I want my dreams to come into reality. It's like, no, I'm not balancing out my emotions anymore about people who are like that. Because I think if there's negative people in the world that are like that, that means the divine is working on loving, generous, kind, just and fair people in the world. And I'm going to go find one of those. I recently switched jobs, and it was like going from a parallel universe. It's like, wow, where somebody was acting, a supervisor was acting really petty and controlling and secretive. And oh my gosh, it was just bizarre. It was like 8th grade, junior high. And then I'd only been there 9 months, but I thought, oh my gosh, my intuition is telling me, and if your intuition, you know, practice what you preach. So I went to go get another job, and it was like a parallel universe. It's like, wow, everyone is really nice and kind and encouraging and gives you way more information about things you'd maybe never have to know. Where the other people, you couldn't know anything. Oh, well, because I guess it made them feel powerful to keep secrets or something, you know. So parallel universe. So I believe that if there's negative energy is creating a negative environment, That means loving energy is creating a loving environment. Go find the people who harness some high vibe energy and maintain balance within yourself and love yourself and believe in yourself. And there are going to be people who want to be in friendships and relationships with you because you don't act in those shadowy ways. So I wish you peace, love, and joy, and we'll see you next time. Bye bye.